Hi everyone, I'm Catherine Martin, founder of QuietTime Ministries, and every day I have the privilege of meeting alone with the one who actually created me, who made the world. His name is Jesus. He is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and this is my quiet time. I wonder if you've ever felt like just giving up. I mean, maybe you're facing something right now that has been such a lengthy trial that you don't think you can go on much longer. You're tempted to lose heart because you just can't see through the fog of your difficulty. Well, I want to give you some encouraging words that I read in my quiet time. They are from the example of Jesus, and it's in Luke 18, verse 1. Listen to this, Luke 18, verse 1. Now, he was telling them a parable to show that at all times they ought to pray and not to lose heart. And you know, it wasn't so much the parable that ministered to me, but the reason why Jesus gave the parable. At all times we ought to pray and not to lose heart. To me, these words are one of the strongest encouragements to us to pray in all of the Bible. And when I read them in my quiet time, I began pouring out my heart in prayer to the Lord. I mean, I prayed about literally everything in my life. I talked with Him about my mother, my brother, my niece, my husband, my ministry, my future, my finances, my writing, you name it. I talked with Him about it. And then, amazingly, I opened up to Streams in the Desert and Springs in the Valley by Mrs. Charles Cowman, both on the same day, and both of the readings were all about prayer. That's when I knew the Lord is speaking to me. He wants me to know this. Streams in the Desert was based on Hebrews 4:16, which says this, "Let us come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Then I read this, "Are you fainting in prayer? Look up. Your blessed advocate has already claimed your answer." And you would grieve and disappoint Him if you were to give up the conflict in the very moment when victory is on its way to meet you. He has gone in for you into the inner chamber and already holds you up your name upon the palms of His hands. And the messenger, which is to bring you your blessing, is now on his way. And the Spirit is only waiting your trusting to whisper in your heart the echo of the answer from the throne. It is done. Now, don't you love that? What an encouragement. Well, then I loved what I read in Springs in the Valley. It began with a story about Alexander the Great, who had a famous but poverty-stricken philosopher in his court. The philosopher came to Alexander the Great, and he was granted a commission to receive whatever he wanted from Alexander the Great's treasury. He asked for a very large amount in Alexander the Great's name, 10,000 pounds. Well, the treasurer was astounded by the large amount of the request and refused to comply, and instead said he would wait and talk with the king. Alexander listened to him with patience and then said, "Let the money be instantly paid." I am delighted with this philosopher's way of thinking. He has done me a singular honor. By the largeness of his request, he shows the high idea he has conceived both of my superior wealth and my royal generosity. And then, listen to this. Saints have never yet reached the limit to the possibilities of prayer. Whatever has been attained or achieved has touched but the fringe of the garment of a prayer-hearing God. We honor the riches both of His power and love only by large demands. And then here's the great challenge. If Alexander gave like a king, shall not Jehovah give like a God? Okay, dear friends, can you imagine what that did for me in my quiet time of prayer? I started talking with God all over again. Only, I'm going to tell you something. I prayed more fervently than ever before. And I prayed with a larger vision of what God could do. What an amazing lesson on prayer I had in my quiet time. So whatever you're facing, you can know the Lord expects you always to pray and not lose heart. You can know that He will give you as only our great God can give. Thank you, Lord, for teaching me all about prayer and showing me that I need to pray always and never lose heart. And that's my quiet time for this week. God bless you as you continue on in the great adventure of knowing Him.